So, hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, the IE informer. He is the man of many hats and names, but he is Donovan, most affectionately to us. And then off the air, he's a whole lot of other things, but I won't say what they are. So, I like to say the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people because we are a great people, but we can always strive to do better. Also, like to say a big hello, giant welcome, and thank you to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you just viewers, but you are participants because I do put up the link. Only thing that I ask is that you come on here, be, short with your commentary. And if you said what you want to say today before in the past, don't click the link, come up here and repeat it because, we want to kind of keep it fresh and exciting. We know how you feel already. Also, I want to see your face if I do not know who you are or have not seen you pop up on my screen before. Show me your face before I bring you up to the big screen. And then if you do not want to be seen, you can put your picture back up. But I just need to verify that is no shenanigans. So today we are going to be talking about Mr. Tyler Perry, the media mogul, I guess we can call him that at this point, also known as Madea, making some in the sisterhood. When I say sisterhood, I mean Black women mad over some recent comments that he made during an interview. I also want to say that I feel like I need to say this now before we get started, that I do truly love and appreciate every last one of you because, it may get heated today, but I want y'all to know that it's always going to be all love. And that includes for Donovan too. It's going to be all love. We may not always agree, but it's all love at the end of the day. So who do we have on here really quick before I give it to Donovan? We have Abdul Ali Muhammad. How you doing? He says the song Prince Sign of the Times. SR4, how you doing? So he's bringing out his Medea. That role made his money. He was telling Black women off in his plays. He's gone beyond his plays. Yes, Donovan, thank you for reminding people to hit the like button. Honeydew, how you doing? Lavender Lily, how are you? Ricky Mackey, how are you doing? Black America, what's going on with you? I see you already getting started. M, how are you? And Roots Reggae Girl, one, how you doing? King of Sorrows, what's going on? And Ja Tony, how you doing? Monet, and that's it. Y'all crazy. So Donovan, what say you before we get started?
Hey, welcome. It's Sunday, and that means it's Demetra K. Cowboys are up 10-18. They are marching down for another touchdown, by the way. Do us a favor. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That helps the algorithm, and also it's absolutely free, and it helps Demetra continue to be motivated to make videos and do all those great things. At the bottom, you see right now, it says, please donate. Cash App, Demetra K, PayPal, Venmo, all kinds of stuff as well. This topic is going to be a very interesting topic. I'm glad Demetra started by saying that it's all love. It might get heated. I don't think this topic is going to really go anywhere. It's just a conversation piece because women are going to be on their side. Men are going to be on our side. And this is how we're made. We're made totally opposites. And there's a lot of things that women see that they see one way, men see it another way. And that's what makes us opposite. And that's what makes us link together because we are opposite in how we think and how we do things. So let's get into it and we'll see how it goes.
So I'm going to show y'all the video, but again, he was on some interview, and forgive me, I don't know which it was, but he was indeed sitting down with a Black woman when he made these comments. And as I said, there's some sisters who was not having it and, vehemently disagree with what he said. So y'all ready? All right, here it goes.
In our society right now, Black women are making a lot more money for the most part than Black men, right? There are a lot of Black men who are successful, but for the most part, Black women are making the money. So if you can find love, if that man works, at whatever job and is a good man and is good to you and honors the house and honors his wife and does what he can, because his gift may not be your gift.
Exactly.
That is okay. That's not somebody who's beneath you.
Yeah.
That's somebody who came to love you at your worth, right?
Yes.
And as long as he's secure in himself to know that, yep, she makes most of the money, all I can pay is the light bill. As long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage and all the other stuff, you've handled the light bill, baby, you can take me to dinner every now and then. That is fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But that's so hard for a lot of people to take in, because that means, no, I need somebody to, who is, they need to make 5 times more, and I got to have, well, you go on, keep your list, baby.
Yeah.
God bless you, hope it happens. Go on, keep your list. But when you talk about just someone to love you and support you, I know people who whose men can't touch what they make.
Okay, so as you heard there, that again was Tyler Perry, and he was basically saying that, and I'm paraphrasing. And hello, Ashley and Keisha, how you doing? I'm paraphrasing. And Moni, how you doing? He's basically saying, if you as a woman is making more than your man, so what? If all he can do is pay the light bill, and you're paying the mortgage, he's doing what he can. As long as he loves you, he said he came and he loved you at your worth. I think he meant to say, or he said it, because I don't think he meant worse. Loved you, and he also said that he knows, women who are making more than their man, and I think he's talking about Oprah, that's making significantly more than their man. That women need to, basically Black women, he said, need to scrap the list that sometimes we tend to make. When I say we, I'm just speaking in general, that we tend to make in regards to everything that he has to have. He said he needs to make 5 figures. And of course, I've heard a lot of women say that they want a man that's 6 feet, 6 figures, and God knows what the other 6 is for. I can only imagine. But he's basically saying you have to lower your expectations, because it's just not that way in our community. Now, of course, hey, Holland, how you doing? Long time no see. Of course, on the other side of that, hey, Will, how you doing? On the other side of that, there's a lot of Black women are like, well, why are we always having to lower our expectations when it comes to Black men? No one else, when I say no one else, this is what I'm reading. No one else, as far as any other woman, Asian, white, Hispanic, they're not told to lower their standards when it comes to their men. They are taken care of. The bills are paid. They're not expected to pay the mortgage while their man pays the light bill, because that's all he has. And so, I don't know. I'm going to render my opinion throughout this broadcast here. I don't know. We're going to see where it goes. And of course, we could talk about anything else that may come to your mind. Lady Blue, how you doing? And Michael, what's going on with you? So Donovan, what say you?
I'm going to say this. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Number one, when it comes to Black women making a certain amount of money, I just put up a link that actually shows the average income of Black women, especially here in California. The average Black woman in California makes $43,000 a year, which is probably pretty close to what men make. So him saying that the majority of women make all this money, maybe the women he knows in Hollywood and where they make that kind of money, but the average Black woman in California, I didn't research other states, but in California makes $43,000 a year. So I know that for a fact. It's just what it is. And, I just get tired of these people that put out these narratives that are not true. They're just statistically not true. When we talk about expectations of why Black men are always asking women to lower their expectations when it comes to their men, because when you try to compare us to white men or Asian men, these are people that have long history of money, and they don't come from the ills that we come from. That's where the expectation is unrealistic. You're expecting somebody who comes from a environment that he's getting it out of the mud. Most of these white guys are living off money that our ancestors gave them, and they continue to do very well with. So when a woman that comes from that type of environment as well expects a black man to just pop up with the Mercedes and he's making on average $40,000 a year, that's not realistic no matter how you look at it. You can't take a white man's expectation and take a black man expectation and think they're the same. They are not the same because economically we come from two different worlds. One person is privileged, one person is disadvantaged. That is why we constantly ask our women to be realistic in their expectations. I got a lot more to say about it, but I want to hear what our co-hosts have to say. Again, everybody's going to have an opinion about this. It is what it is.
Yeah, so just to and hello to everybody that came on here. I see you. So I don't know if he was making a comparison between the money or if he was more or less making an issue of black women having to lower, and these are his words, not mine, lower their standards in order to, I guess, maybe be with a black man. And yeah, he did say he knows, people who are making significantly more than their counterpart. And yeah, he says the list of demands, I guess, that women have for men, especially he said, making 5 figures or whatever. That's not always the case. And so you're going to have to compromise. If you're in a position to pay the mortgage and all he can do is pay the light bill, then you should be all right with that, because what counts is that you are loved and taken care of and respected by your man. Again, those are his words, not mine. I'm just kind of paraphrasing. But I did look, Donovan, and it is say, just my brief Google search, that black men in America, their average net worth is about $10,000 to that of black women, that's $1,700. So that's net worth. I didn't see, as far as annual, what they make annually, because your net worth, as far as what you have, can be different from what you actually make. So basically, you can make a lot of money, but not save a lot of money. Doesn't make sense, or keep a lot of money.
Yeah, but it also depends on how you look at it, because if you're talking within our community, when 70% of our community is on some form of assistance, are they including that as well? Because men don't get that same assistance. We don't get free housing. We don't get free this. We don't get free that.
You said what percentage, Donovan, is on some type of housing?
Well, whatever the percentage is, there's a majority within the black community that is on some form of assistance. It's a majority of our population. So, are they including that as well? That's what I'm saying. Statistics could be whatever you want it to be.
I just looked again too, as far as the annual income. So it says on average, I guess for black men, it's about $48,000 a year. For black women, it's about $36,000. So even with that, so I don't know what 12,000.
Well, give or take or whatever. Like I said, here in California, it's 42. We're on equal parallels. So how can somebody who makes $42,000 a year, on average, if you're looking at the numbers, expect a man to do this or that or that or this? You see what I'm saying? It's unrealistic, is what we're saying. You look at the average Asian who have all the money and their men, you can't compare. It's apples and oranges. These people they come from wealth. They're already wealthy. You got our group, we're getting it out of the mud. At $48-something thousand a year, let's say as a man, let's just round it up to 50,000. California, $50,000 you aren't going to live here. You're not going to live here. And you know that, Demetra. So, we have to be realistic in our expectations.
All right. Well, I'm going to get to my comments. Basically, what I was saying is that it is almost the same before you cut me off. So it's about the men are making about $12,000 more a year, which, is significant to somebody, but it's not, leaps and bounds. So you just kind of want to throw that information out there. So anyway, let me jump into the comment section, and I'm going to open up the link early to see what you all have to say. Again, I would just like to say, don't come on here repeating the same old stuff you be repeating. If it's not pertinent or pertaining, whatever, to this conversation, don't click the link. I want it to be specifically to this conversation, whether you agree, disagree, or you have something insightful to add to it. But I don't want people coming on here just kind of just because, you know what I mean? I still love you though. But anyway, let me get into the comment section just briefly here. All right, where did I leave off? And Keisha, he says, thank you, Donovan. Glad to be here. Okay. And Michael, he says, so both parents in the household should be working. There's a shaming tactic around our people that if the black man lets his wife help pay bills, he's not a man. Good point. Good point. Hello, Easy E. How you doing? And Moni, thank you so much. I thought of you when I put this lipstick on too. You say Tyler Perry is the last person to give any type of relationship, considering all he does, relationship advice. Well, you know what? I kind of maybe disagree with that, because when he's playing Medea, he does give a lot of really good advice, you know, to men and women. So I don't know. I think he would. I don't think we should discount him as far as being able to give advice, because he does every once in a while give a lot of good advice. Black America says women don't make more than men in any field. Well, I don't know about in any field. It might be one or two now. Come on now. JBWR, how you doing? He says, I see nothing wrong with what he said. And Daria, I hope I said that right. How you doing? He says, Tyler is tripping. Okay, LS, what's going on with you? And Honeydew says, man, I'll just wait for Donovan to be free. Donovan's free? Donovan ain't with nobody. I told y'all, I'm ready to auction him off. The bid is at $5.32. If y'all could beat that, he is all yours. He's free. And Lady Blue says, Medea's tripping. And Michael says, if a man works and pays the entire bill, he is creating a lot of stress for himself and the entire family. Working together is about sharing the pain equally. And Will, you say, I make $50,000 annually to keep it real. Well, you know what? That's actually a pretty good amount of money, especially depending on where you live. And I always say this, it's not always about what you make, it's what you keep. Because there's people making $200,000-$300,000 a year and they don't keep any of it, right? Because they're spending it all, right? They like got all the designer stuff or whatever, and they have none of it, nothing to show for it. But there's people who are making far less than the $200,000-$300,000 a year, and they, you know, got it going on. So, you know what I mean? And LS says, Demetra, sounds like some black women want white privilege. Huh. Okay. Lady Blue says, I made $48,000 straight out of undergrad. That was 20 years ago. Okay. And JT Devereaux, I like that name. How you doing? He says, very true. And Jan Michael, what's going on with you? He says, hey, and greetings. Ha 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 on today's subject. Michael says, cash payment reparations are needed for black men and women to close the racial wealth gap. That is very true. JT says, you can't tell a black woman they don't have it harder than anyone else in the world. So you're saying that you can't tell her. So you're saying that we do have it harder than anyone else in the world. I guess maybe I'm trying to figure out your comment.
You know, wait, I'm gonna have to disagree with that, because how do you have it harder than anywhere in the world? Only in the United States does the government give you housing, food vouchers, free health care, and so on, so on, so forth. So how is it that, you know, you guys got it harder? Please explain that.
You know, I'm having a really good day and everything.
No, I'm just saying, clarify. Show me somewhere in the world where women, okay, I use black women, whatever, but women in the United States that get all of these gimmies, right? Show me anywhere in the world where other groups do that. There is no other place. But go ahead.
I'm having a marvelous day. You know what I mean? I've gotten all my work done.
I mean, facts matter. I mean, it matters.
I just want to say this. I want to just keep it cool, calm, and collected right now. I don't really feel like eating your lunch because I just ate not that long ago, and I'm kind of full. So I'm gonna let that slide for now, okay? Because we'll never get on with the show. But if someone else wants to eat Donovan's lunch, I'll be more than happy to get some crumbs.
I'm just saying, if people get all of these perks, whatever it is, how do you go around saying I'm strong and independent? It's confusing to me, because you're not independent if you're dependent on somebody else to provide certain things. So unfortunately, a lot of women they're delusional. And fellas, if you understand what I'm talking about, and ladies, if you understand what I'm talking about, put a 1 in the chat, because it doesn't make any sense that they talk about you're the most this, you're the most that, but you go anywhere else in the world, they don't get the perks that the women in the United States get. But go ahead.
I'm not taking the bait, brother. I'm not gonna take the bait. I ain't gonna do it. Lady Blue, you says, was there a woman? Y'all want me to eat? Y'all want me to eat Donovan's lunch? Let me digest my food for just a minute, okay? Lady Blue says, was there a woman by his side when he was homeless? Yeah, actually, I don't know about by his side, but Medea's actually after his auntie, who he says, was very instrumental in his life. Auntie, was a Black woman. H. McDaniel, how you doing? You say, I don't see anything wrong with what he said. It's true that a lot of Black women would say that. I am not like that. If a man loves, protects, and is willing to provide what he has, he's good. All right. And Daria says, I had an auntie tell me a piece of man. A piece of man is better than none. I don't agree. That's that old school, wisdom child. A piece of a man is better than having no man at all. Fly guy, how you doing? And Metamorphosis, how you doing? I was trying to say that before Donovan cut me off. Say the government gave them the most, though. Okay. And Will says, Cali, lazo or lazy. Is that what you're trying to say? JT says, I live in Houston, and every woman I dated over the past 5 years has made more money than me. I make $75,000 a year, blue collar job. Okay. Morning says, but now is the same man that has a man that he struggles with his own identity, whether he's going to flip with a woman. Never take advice from a man violated Leviticus. Okay. I think you're trying to say he's closeted, or is that what you're trying to say? Lady Blue says, every person I've been with, I've been the one with the higher income. And trust me, that doesn't work. It brings envy and a host of problems. I'm good on that. JT says, I have a bachelor's degree. After applying myself, I think you meant after years. I think you're trying to say I'm applying myself to careers and etc. To match my education. And sorry, it was kind of jumbled. So Honeydew says, laugh out loud, which piece of man is better than none? And Fly Guy says, exactly, DK, stick specifically to the conversation. Yeah, because we don't need people coming over here talking about the sky is blue. Did you know that? And JT says, men like me to our Black women are dusty, failures, and broke. Oh, no, I don't know. Wow. I'm going to open the link. Damon, how you doing? And Metamorphosis says, if a man pays his own bills, is he not a man? I would think so. Marnie says, but with all due respect, she does not have to settle for a short midget man. Let's be clear. If a woman wants a man that's making close to 6 figures and she's making that's equal, it's her choice. Okay. And Ja, you say, I'm cooking and listening. Only gold diggers got a problem with regular bros. Okay. Honeydew says, that's what I mean. Free. Okay. And Jai says, he's a passport bro, can't be trusted. And when you say he, you mean who? You talking about Donovan? Who's a passport, bro? Michael, he says, Tyler is not excusing Black men from not contributing, despite the fact that he said men and women should contribute equally. Moni says, Donovan, you are right. A woman is meant to be a man's help, but in modern times, is nothing wrong with a woman having a career helping in the household. Why does she have to pay all the bills? Let's be clear.
I agree. But again, if we're bringing biblical terms into it and stuff like that, it is what it is. It's set up the way it's set up. So, Moni, you're a religious person, and who are we to go against what God says and set up? How do you change something that you don't even have the authority to change?
Holland, you say, yes, I agree with you. If a woman makes more than, yes, why not pay for majority of the bills? I feel the man who is making less can make that up in other ways, like cleaning the house, cooking, and maybe going shopping. That's just my opinion. All right. And Honeydew says, how about I pay the light bill and change the kitty litter? Nah, I won't change no kitty litter either. I'm not going to do it, okay?
Get up that door, have your animals go outside naturally. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and go in somebody else's yard like mine. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so gross. Damon, you say, Miss K, that's dollar store numbers for Donovan. Okay. And Shirley, how you doing? Says, hey, Demetri Donovan in chat. Happy Sunday to you all. Great topic is living within your means, no matter how much you make. I totally agree with you. And Will, it says, bought a couple of books from Vicky Diller's channel. Okay. And what kind of books did you buy, if you don't mind me asking? And Uno number one says, and how you doing? Exactly. He says, when I drive around, I see nothing but homeless men, but rarely do I see a homeless woman. Okay.
Okay. And I don't know what areas you're driving in, whatever deal is, but statistically, it has been shown, especially I think last month, 12,000 evictions happened in the city of Atlanta alone. 12,000 evictions. Out of that 12,000 evictions, 60 something of them were women. In Miami, I think there was a 3,000 evictions that happened. Phoenix, 5,000 evictions have happened. The majority of these evictions that are happening to single mothers. In the United States, the majority of your evictions are happening to Black single mothers. So depending on what area you're in, I don't know, but a lot of the evictions are happening to Black single mothers.
That is true, but to their point, that doesn't necessarily mean that those Black single mothers are homeless on the street. They could be somewhere else. So.
True. But however, that's true. However, the point is they are, for some reason, losing their homes. And I would attribute a lot of that to the Democratic Party. This was all by design. So.
And Meb B, how you doing? It says those benefits are for women with children. I'm just going to keep on reading because, like I said, I ain't trying to get my blood pressure up with Donovan this early on in the show, but thank you for that. A lady, how you doing? And Shirley, you say...
Wait, let me answer that just real quick. That's true. That is for women with children. But you go to any other country outside of the United States, women with children don't get those benefits. So you're throwing a red herring out there. But go ahead.
I ain't gonna bite. Shirley, you say, yep, reparations would close the wealth gap, but even then, live within your means because it could be gone as fast as it came. That is very true. And you guys are putting a bunch of ones in the chat. Maybe something Donovan asked you with. Hello, Rick. How you doing? And Ruth
the ones was when I asked about the delusion of the women saying one thing and meaning another. You know what I mean?
Woo, Roots girl, reggae. I'm sorry, Roots reggae girl. You say he's right. Okay. Black America says get rid of Section 8 WIC child support alimony. And Roots, you say, but you can't compare struggles. And Michael says Donovan, more white women receive government assistance than Black women do. Alvin, how you doing? He says,
Michael, you've been on the show long enough to know when you're talking about white people, of course they do when they're 50% or more of the population. When Black people are so-called only 13% of the population, and then within that 13%, the majority of us, I'm throwing a number out there, let's just say 60% of us are on some form of assistance. That's a problem. We are a failing group when the majority of us are on some form of assistance. So that's a accounting trick that you're saying. You're repeating an accounting trick.
Agent McDaniel asks a question. What's wrong with you, Donovan? Are you anti-Black women? Did a little girl beat you up in grade school and steal your lunch money?
Wait, who said that?
H. McDaniel.
H. McDaniels. Shame. What's that Kevin Samuel says? Shame. Whatever that they use to throw back, just a common sense question. Like I said, if we're gonna be on this show and just be calling each other names and stuff like that out, show me where I'm wrong. I put up a data sheet that you can look out for yourself. If you don't like that data sheet, go somewhere else and find another fact that will say what women aren't making and what men aren't making and so on and so forth. Demetri and I have our differences, but the thing is, I might not agree with her facts, but the fact of the matter is my statement is relevant to the question. It has nothing to do with me being beat up by a woman. Even if I was beat up by a woman, if I defended myself, I would be labeled a woman beater, right? Because men are stronger than women, right? Duh.
Virgo Flower, how you doing? He says, when you're in love, you go for anything. You ignore all the stuff. Huh. I'm just going to keep reading. I'm not going to get my blood pressure up just yet. I'm sure it'll come a time where, I'm going to jump in here. Mab, you say those government benefits will still have people living under the poverty threshold. I mean, I'm just saying, because, maybe I've digested my food all the way. I don't know. We're going to find out. Because when we hear people throw out, women are getting welfare, they talking like they getting a king's ransom or something. Like they just, they're doing large numbers, right? They rolling around in fur coats and driving Cadillacs and stuff off of what Donovan and what's that joker's name? Huckabee said off of Uncle Sugar's wallet. Like these black women just brawling out the gym on governmental assistance. And so it's like, wait, now don't come here, brother, because I let you say all the stuff you wanted to say. When you hear that, you do have to wonder what's in the mindset of a person who would just throw that out and not really give it a full conversation. So when you say that women are, and black women, because that's what we're talking about, are getting all these big time governmental gold mines, keep it a buck, man. You know what? They're not getting all of that to really sustain themselves. So it's like, what are we talking about here? Why even throw that into the equation? Because quite obviously, if a woman is making almost $40,000 a year, you tell me what government assistance is she getting?
Right. Now, I agree with everything you just said. However, if I was right now, Demetra, if you can get $100 in food stamps, right? If you can get $100, would you accept $100 in food stamps?
Right now, if I could get
it, if you can get it
with no strings attached.
Yeah, sure,
why not?
Because you qualify for it, right? Okay.
If I qualify,
right? Well, let's just say you qualify for it. Great. Now, with that assistance that you're supposed to have, shouldn't you be moving up? Shouldn't that be a plus to move you up, not to keep you at that level?
Brother,
shouldn't it?
Wait, hold on.
Wait. I'm,
you gonna let me ask you the question? Are you
okay,
gonna
go answer the question.
First of all, what you did was a red herring. That ain't had nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, whether that woman is getting governmental assistance or not, and she's able to move up and down the ladder. That is nothing that you like. You're tying stuff to an argument that does not fly. If a woman, let's just deal with the facts. These are your facts. You brought up how much a woman is making and black men and women are making, right? Mm-hmm. And I went and looked and I said, yeah, you're right. So if a woman is making nearly $40,000 a year, she's not going to qualify, first of all, for governmental assistance. So there was no need for you even throw that in there. I'm trying to figure out how. That's why I said I'm not going to say much, because now y'all see where I'm at. And so now that you cannot tie me down or anybody else down to that argument, now you're trying to say, well, that woman who is getting governmental assistance that's not making $40,000 a year should be upwardly mobile. So you have put in, yes, you did. That is where
I was going, but go ahead.
Put in 3 different arguments to do what?
Wrong. You're wrong. That is not where I'm going. Here's where I was going. And Fishing with Rick says it. It's not about women getting the welfare. It becomes a problem when the assistance becomes generational. That's where I was going.
Again, but y'all see how y'all, and I'm listen, they don't call me the master debater for no reason. Y'all see how y'all just went all over the world. Y'all went all the way from the original topic to bring in welfare. And I'm asking y'all, I know why, but I'm not going to say it. Why did you do that? Why did you bring in welfare when common sense would tell anybody, and even a cricket living in the Middle East, that if a woman is making $40,000 a year, she ain't getting no governmental assistance? So why throw that in there?
That isn't all women getting $40,000 a year. Now, there's your red herring. Wait. You're throwing in a red herring and making everybody seem every black woman's getting $40,000 a year. They're not. So we're not talking about those women that are getting $40,000 a year. We're talking about the women that aren't getting $40,000 a year.
Why? Why are we talking about those women when they're not? If those women are not making $40,000 a year and they're getting governmental assistance, does it make sense that she would be paying a mortgage anywhere and her man paying a light bill? No. Who else came on here? Because like I said, I'm up now. My food is digested. I ate it. Listen, playtime is over. It just is. Now I'm going to open up this link after I read most of these comments. And a lady, thank you so much for the donations. You say making a man stand on his own is the best help. Okay. Robert, how you doing? Says Allah. God says in the Holy Quran that men are the maintainers of women, and that's mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. So men, we got work to do. Just read them. And Honeydew says Philly got plenty homeless women and older too. Yes, indeed. There's plenty of homeless women. Absolutely. And Amoni says, Demetri, never take advice from a man that's in violation of Leviticus 18 chapter verses 21 through 27, the abomination. And he knows what he's doing in abomination in God's eyesight. No advice from him. Got you. All right, so let me skip down here a little bit so that I can catch up. A lady, once again, thank you. You say black men are on Skid Row, hard to get evicted from there. Uno number one, you say in Atlanta, all I see are homeless black men with tents set up under bridges. And Quita, how you doing? Long time no see. And Ricky, it says if relationships in our society wasn't somehow flipped into some kind of prostitution, some type of prostitution-based dynamics, we wouldn't be having these problems. We're only having these debacles because we were raised over here. I've been to a few countries in our world, and I have never seen people carry on like we do. You know what? I would agree with you on that. I agree with you. You know, once you look into Ricky's green eyes, it's hard to disagree. All right, I see I'm terribly behind. And Rhonda, how you doing? It says get married, work as a unit, and discuss your monthly budget. Also, our money as a unit. Yes, indeed. Okay, I want to skip down. Mike, nice. How you doing? And Will, you say books 101 never asked about Black America and Black labor, white wealth. Don't have the authority handy. Okay, so that's by Dr. Claude Anderson, Black Labor, White Wealth. Very good book, by the way. Robert, he says reparations like Israel has been getting since 1947 is what we should be seeking. We suffered far worse and longer than they did under Nazi Germany. Okay. I'm skipping down so I could catch up and open the link. Maureen, how you doing? Metamorphosis says help is on the way. I never complained about any help. Okay, y'all talking amongst yourself. Let me catch up. Star Child, how you doing? Says the money you get is not much. That is true. Honeydew says 100 ain't gonna keep me on assistance. Okay. Black America says she would qualify if she has children. Now we're making no $40,000 a year. She'd have to have a bunch of children, I would imagine. Star Child says you can't move up in the system getting money from the government. That's true, and it's true and not true because they have a whole lot of programs that will help a person, like they get to go to school for free and things like that. So there are things that they can do. H. McDaniel says every time I watch the show, you always have something negative to say about Black women. Black women are loud. They say they don't need a man. They think they are strong as a man. Okay, and Fly Guy, he says, laugh my ass off, a cricket living in the Middle East. I'm just saying. And Will, he says, the Roman Empire did the same thing. And a lady, thank you once again, says, Black men welfare is keeping us from choosing them. Ooh, powerful Empress, how are you doing? And FBA, how you doing? It says Section 8 don't exist. It does exist. I'm not going to read that one, Fly Guy. I don't want to make Donovan too mad. Let's see here.
No, you can go ahead and read it.
He said,
I don't get mad. Go ahead.
He says DK1 round one, Donovan.
What is that? DK1? What does that mean? Oh.
I won round one.
Oh, that's fine. That doesn't mean you're gonna win the fight, though. No. Let's be clear. We're all adults here. Everybody's gonna have their opinion. It is what it is. Let's just respect each other's opinions. That's all.
Yes, indeed. So, okay, I've made it to the bottom. I would love to read every last one of you guys' comments, but there's quite a few of you on here. So listen, I'm going to open up the link again, come on here if you have something apropos to add to the conversation. If you do not, just wait until it's your time. You know what I mean? This should be interesting. Nevertheless, Donovan, you want to say anything as I'm putting this link up?
Yeah, Cowboys are up 27-10. They're driving down for another score.
Anything important?
That was important. If the Cowboys don't win, America doesn't win.
Is that so? Is that why we've been losing a lot for the last 35?
Yes, exactly. We've been on a downslope since what was the last time they won a championship? 1994, 95, something like that. So
it's been a minute. Hello, William. How you doing? Okay, so I'm gonna put this link up. You all. Oops. Okay, I'm slow today. Here we go. So this should be very interesting. Thank you, William. I appreciate that. And Honeydew says Jerry Jones. You got some emojis or that I cannot see. Robert says it's all about the truth. So whoever says it wins. Yeah, let's be logical.
Alternative facts every time. Alternative facts.
Michael, what do you have to say?
Hi, Donovan, Demetra. How you guys doing today?
We're doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good myself. So one of you guys got my email last night about marketing reparations.
I haven't.
Oh, I didn't get it. My phone's broken.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I emailed you guys the article, how to market reparations to your audience.
Can I quickly ask you, how does this pertain to our conversation?
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, it sort of does, but I was going to add something else.
Wait. Does it or does it not?
Okay, yes, it does, but I'm going to add something.
It better be good. Good. Go ahead. Get to it.
I say it does pertain to your conversation, because think about it. We know very clearly in America, right, as collective, collectively speaking, we know that Black men and Black women are underpaid compared with white men and white women, right? Because Black women and Black men, they need the reparations to close the wealth gap, because white women and white men, they have more wealth than Black men and Black women do in America, because after centuries of genocide and slavery, and that's true, yes, because it does. Because think about it, because Black women will need reparations to open businesses, right, Demetra, so that they could circulate the money into the Black communities.
Correct. But let me ask you this.
Sure.
That's kind of off topic a little bit. What is your opinion about what Tyler Perry said? Do you agree or do you disagree with what he said?
Yeah, before I came onto your show, I read something about what Tyler Perry said before I formed my opinions. So what I read and understand, so what Tyler Perry is saying is that, we're living in different times these days. It's very hard for, men to pick up the slack, right? Not to excuse the fact that men are not providing or they're not taking responsibility. They're trying very hard. It's just that when you have a man doing everything for the entire family, right, it puts a lot of pressure, stress, and also increases, health risk factors. And he sees that because the trend has changed in the last 40, 50 years, because a lot of jobs have been outsourced. When I talk about jobs outsourced, I'm talking about like factory jobs where Black men had good paying jobs, or they were in a heavily unionized jobs where they got paid a living wage, and that was enough to provide for the entire family, where the woman didn't have to work then. But then, then over time in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, up until now, we're seeing that times have changed, and also the acceleration has made it worse for Black men than for white men. Not to say white men are struggling, but definitely for the fact that Black men are struggling the most. And also, I was thinking, and you mentioned about what's the earnings between Black men and Black women. I have the data right here. Let me just copy and paste the site.
I'm sorry, what was that you said?
Oh, I said you mentioned about. I know you earlier asked about what's the wage gap between Black men and Black women.
So
Because I
from what I
understand.
saw, it's about $12,000. So you don't need to put a link up. But from what I saw, it's about $12,000,
Yeah,
right?
from what I saw from the Economic Policy Institute, it says this is from 2017. Real median earnings of full-time, 4-year Black workers and white workers by gender from 2017. So it says that for Black men, yes, for Black men it's $42,176. For Black women it's
So
$36,735
Michael,
a
not to
year.
cut you off, but I as I said, I already covered that.
Okay.
And you said the exact same thing that I did. So
Yeah, it's a
um,
little off. I
mhm,
know it's like a little off the
and a
figures.
little bit by a penny or two. So I
No,
mean,
but
I'm not trying to be rude or nothing, but
sure, I understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
because as I said too before, just come on and state your opinion. We don't need links and all that other stuff,
Okay.
especially stuff that we've already covered. But so
Sure.
you're saying you're kind of on the fence with Tyler Perry. You agree, but you disagree. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying about disagree or agree. It's okay. I mean, how do I say this? I usually like to state the facts, evidence. You know me like over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is me. I mean, there's nothing wrong. Okay, there's nothing wrong with men and women splitting the bill. I know Donovan has his opinions. I can tell. I know he's going to be very excited. He's saying, "Oh, men are winners. Men are providers." So I don't agree with men and women splitting the bill. But Donovan, at the end of the day, times have changed for millennials. I know in your generation, yes, you're a provider, and I know Donovan, you're a good man. You're a good person. I know you're inside your heart. You always like to provide for your, for your spouse, right? And
Well,
you know
yeah.
that.
Well, yeah, I don't want to cut you off, Mike, but people got to
Sorry.
understand that I'm talking from the generation that I come from. I can't speak for generations behind me and generations that were before me. I'm speaking for the generations that where I'm at.
Right.
So you're absolutely right.
Right. But I also have to add the fact that, times have changed economically. Like I said, a lot of good paying jobs in blue collar industries have been outsourced for good. And so, yes, even though the men are trying very hard to provide for their families, right? The jobs they're working in is mostly service based industries, or they're working two service-based industry, which is about 70 hours a week. So 70 hours a week, and the wages are making like what, $14 an hour. Is that really enough to provide a roof over head? Even if they're working two jobs, $14 an hour, which is like $28 per hour. That's still not enough. And
So
when we said,
basically, so
go
you're
ahead.
saying that you agree with Tyler Perry then?
Yeah, I'm saying I understand where Tyler Perry's coming from.
Mhm.
I also understand where the report is coming from, and the trend that we're leaning towards nowadays. This is nothing new. It's been building up over time. It's just that COVID-19 has accelerated men and women, splitting the bill 50-50 because of the economic structures, policies of the last
Got you.
40, 50 years. And very quickly, and I would say this very quickly, and on the comments, I couldn't add enough because restrictions. So I said, I understand like where you're coming from, because a majority of Black men are like, how do I say this? Are very like, are very. Let's just say that they're in tune with their egos, right? Their pride, with the traditional beliefs, without understanding that the job market has changed in the last 40 years. Due to politicians, CEOs, and institutions outsourcing good paying factory jobs to China, Mexico,
I
and
got you. So
other
Michael,
developing
let me do
countries.
this. I got to let somebody else up.
Sorry.
Rosie, can I see your face?
Oh, you
Rosie?
need.
No, I'm somebody else is trying
Oh,
to come up.
somebody else. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so Michael, let me go ahead and put you bring you down, and not bring you down, but so somebody else can come up. But
Sir.
I thank you so much for your insight. I just kind of want to, keep it directly on the topic, because sometimes we tend to
Oh
go
no.
all over the place. But I hear what you're saying as far as the historical data
Yeah.
and things like that. But thank you. So Rosie, can I see your face? Rosie, going once, going twice. Okay. So yeah, Rosie's not have, maybe he or she is not listening or whatever the case is. But yeah. So I mean, Michael, he does raise a good point in regards to how we got to where we are in regards to I guess the wages of Black men and women. But specifically, I'm looking for somebody to add on to whether they agree with Tyler or they do not agree, and not to give information that I've already given. And I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that. It's just kind of trying to move the conversation along a little bit. Thunder, how you doing? Let's see here. I see y'all talking about y'all some Gen X. Yeah, I'm a Gen Xer as well. And William, I agree with you. He says, this is one of the greatest and most shameful divides ever, the Black man versus the Black woman. We are more divided than ever, despite all the talk and false talk of diversity. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Robert says, why are the sisters angry at Tyler Perry? Is he lying? I guess it's because they're saying that Black women are the only women on the planet that's expected to lower their I'm just telling you, Donovan, I'm telling you what they say, okay? To lower their expectation in regards to their men. The other woman is not expected to lower her expectation. So they're saying, why should the Black woman, Black America, how are you today?
Hello. Hey, Demetra. Hey, Donovan. Hello. How's everybody? Everybody in the chat.
We're doing well. How about yourself?
Good. I'm fine. So I'm gonna go back a little bit where you and Donovan were talking, and I'm gonna kind of try and clear up his food stamp point if I can in 30 seconds without you kicking my butt. If you were to accept that $100 in food stamps versus me personally giving you $100, with me personally giving you $100, there would be strings attached. You would have some accountability to me. You would have to listen to what I say, and you would have to do what I wanted you to do. And that's what Donovan is probably trying to say to you, that women are taking this money at this Section 8 because if you want these things from a man, you're going to have to abide by some rules. If you get it from the government, you can do whatever you want to. So that's what us guys all say. And this is not me knowing Donovan from a can of paint, but this is how us men all look at this same. We look at this the same exact way. We don't look at it any differently. When you get something from me, you owe me some ass. You get something from the government, they just give it to you. So yes, it's always good government to give you something. Then you have no responsibility and no accountability to that man. Does that make more sense to you?
Hell no, it don't, because Donovan didn't need you to defend more of nothing. What you just defended, you just doubled down on the nonsense, because that little welfare governmental assistance comment had nothing to do with what we were talking about. It was just a red herring from hell for why I do not know, has not been explained to me at all as to why that even came into the conversation, because we weren't having a conversation about welfare. We were having a conversation about men and women making a set amount of money, and Tyler Perry saying that sometimes women are going to have to acquiesce to that of a man who is making less money than she. That was the conversation. So you just helped Donovan say more.
Once again, Demetra, you're not listening to the whole
brother,
thing.
Wait a minute. Wait, you can't tell me when I'm not listening, because I heard very well. And what you did was you went here and there and everywhere and did not draw a congruent point.
It don't matter where I go, it's where I end up. That's what you're not understanding. See, you don't want to hear it. See, fellas, this is the problem right now. That's why I say this topic it's a waste of time, because women are going to think the way they do and men are going to think the way they do. And it's not going to go anywhere, because like I said, she just tried to to show, oh, I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm going there. Fellas, as we all know, Black America, you're a truck driver. There are many routes to a destination. Am I correct? But at the end of the day, you will get there. That's logical to men. But women will take it and say, oh, he's going over here, and try to turn it into something else. Wait, turn it into something else. And that's exactly what she just did. That's exactly what she just did. So go ahead.
Hell to the no. What you will not do is try to put what you did on me. You turn this into something else. And then when you said what the problem is with women is we don't listen. No, the problem with the men like you is you don't want to be called on your bull stuff, because what you did was you threw everything at the conversation but the conversation. You did. You made like 3 different points. You said something about Tyler Perry, then you said something about women on welfare, and that they need to use this. They don't use the system to pull themselves up. So
my question was women. When the person in the chat said that that about this, I said, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense, because if we're the only country where women are at the bottom, which was the question, women in America are at the bottom or whatever they were saying. I said, this is the only country where women get all of these freebies. Show me a country where this doesn't happen. And the freebies, Demetra, happens to be the system, the welfare system. I know you don't want to hear it, but those are the freebies.
Nah, brother,
that's where it was going.
It's not that I want to hear it, but again, you lying. I got you, Rosie. I got you. You can blank yourself out. I'm gonna bring you up. You're on mute. Okay.
But go ahead.
Anyway, it ain't that. I forgot what I was saying, but I think what I want to say is your argument. It's all over the place, man. It's all over the place.
No, it's not. The guys seem to understand it. The guys seem to understand it. It's all over the place, maybe for women, but the guys understand.
Those guys don't. They lack logic like you. Okay. Because logically speaking, a woman making almost $40,000 a year is not benefiting from any governmental assistance. So don't lie to kick it. That's what you're doing. And then you can double down. You can get Black America on here, co-sign all your nonsense. It still won't be true. It still won't be true.
Okay, Rosie, Demetra, you're the boss. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's right. That's right. Rosie, how you doing?
See how delusional women are, but go ahead.
How you doing?
Wait, hold on, Rosie. Every time Donovan say something slick, I'm gonna come right back at him. See, that's the way with somebody for a man to call a woman delusional, because he can't whoop her verbally in what is being said at the moment. But Rosie, how you doing?
How y'all doing? I'm all right.
I'm doing well.
So I'm gonna have to agree to disagree with what Tyler Perry said. I'm gonna start off by why I agree. So I agree because of economically, Black women overall and whole, I believe they make more than the Black man. So yes, I believe that we should settle if we have a genuine man who do care and love us for who we are, regardless of how much we make. I believe we both would benefit equally. I don't believe it's called settling, though. I believe it would be called more compromising, because we both benefit. And then I would actually disagree because, our men, well, I would say our men is the ones who's supposed to be the provider and the protector. So it just needs a proper order in order for all things to work out. So I would disagree. It just needs to be an order in order for things to work out.
Can I speak after her?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm sorry, Miss Rosie. You sound really nice, but you just used a double negative towards Black men. So what you did was you said that Black women are making more than Black men. In no case is that true. Okay, it's like only 9% of Black women make over between $50,000 and $75,000 a year. That's or 9% of women in total. That's Black, white, and everything. Okay, just 9%. All right. So you guys, Even a black man without a high school diploma can make as much as a black woman with a college degree. It's because of the fields that you guys are mostly in. Now, this is not all women. A nurse, yes. A woman firefighter, yes. A realtor, maybe. But as a whole, as a community, women do not make more than black men. I just want you guys to look up the evidence for yourself and see that. And then you're saying black men it's not supposed to be it's supposed to be in order to be. The women want men to make an exorbitant amount of money. They want, even a Walmart working woman, for the most part, wants a man with a nice car, a nice house, making some good money so that they can do things. So it doesn't have anything to do with the men and how much they're making. It has to do with the expectations of the actual women. That's what I had to say.
All right, can I respond? Okay, so then I will let me reinstate what I said when I said why I agree. When I said I agree, as far as the woman making more, I would just say that that's what's being advertised. That's what's being proposed, like propped up and put out there as if that's the truth. But who really knows when it comes down to the actual numbers between black women and black men? And as far as when I said I disagree, you said it doesn't matter what the man makes, but when I'm talking about the order, I'm talking about the actual order of God. If the man is not the one who's able to provide, regardless of the woman, then that man will never be respected enough in a relationship. So it does matter ultimately for that man to be able to obtain a certain amount to be able to provide for the expectations of these women, which I do not agree with. So yes, that's what I have to say.
And Rosie, I knew that's where you were going with that when you said the proper order. I knew that's where you were going. And they talk about we don't listen, huh? Dusty Hotel, where you been? You want to come up here and get your lunch ate too? I'm gonna put the link back up here. I told y'all, leave me alone. Y'all just had to keep on. But I'll click the link if you want to come up here and express yourself. Do y'all have anything else to add to this conversation?
Nope, I'm good.
Thank you, Miss Rosie. Please come back and see us again.
All right.
Real quick, Michael said to Joanne D, I understand because men don't want to be treated equally to women. It is very sad. Well, Michael, and this is the thing I always put out there. We will never be equal to women, nor will women be equal to us. That is one of the problems we're having in society where people, men and women, are delusional. We are made separate and different. That's just how it is.
Okay.
Can I say something real quick? Sure. Okay. So I just encourage everybody, because of all of this narrative about what women are doing and what women are making, to go and do the actual research yourself. Yes, you got a couple of women who are lawyers, or you have a couple of women, that are nurses. But we all go into hospital and we see who mostly the nurses are. They are mostly Filipino ladies, right? We go into the hospital, we see the firefighters. How many black women firefighters do you see? So with that being said, yes, you guys are doing your thing, but you're not making as much as a garbage man. A garbage man here in Vegas makes 90 grand a year with all of the perks and all of that stuff. So I just it just hurts that women think that men, even the men that are doing these hard jobs, are not making enough money if they're not scamming or.
Well, that again, Black America. That's not all Black women. That's probably the Black women and the ones that y'all see all up on the internet talking about I need to get a bag from a brother or whatever. But I know plenty of women who are with men that aren't balling out the gym in the 6-figure arena. That they're doing average. So I mean, again, you might need to change your circle. Oh my goodness, we have, I think, a first. A lady, how are you doing today? You don't have to blank out your screen if you don't want. You can put your picture back up. Do I? There you go. Hey,
can you hear me?
Hi,
Demetria. Hi, Donovan.
Hey, what a beautiful voice. What a beautiful voice. For such a vicious person in the comments. But go ahead.
Vicious? Really? Okay. Well, I just have to say, that, hey, let's roll with this idea that Tyler Perry is saying that women need to help men. Okay, well, if we need to help men, I thought they were the leaders. So why would they need our help? Why would we need to take in someone who can only afford a light bill? And my personal opinion, if you can only afford the light bill, you have some other things to work on. You shouldn't be focused on dating. You got to put yourself in a position so you can afford maybe a mortgage, not a light bill. But that's how I feel I disagree with Tyler because, women, Black women especially, have been told forever, we need to support these men. And we know good and well, many Black women are supporting Black men. In fact, that's one of the reasons why they did put that, that enforcement in order back in the day that women could not have men in the household because women were supporting these men. And the government knew that this was not a good tactic. This was not good for the men. It was not good for the women. And so for Tyler to come now and say, okay, please support these men, it's not helpful. That will not build better men. It will not build better families. And we all know that when a man is not the head of the household, there are going to be problems. I'm agreeing with what Rosie said to that point. So that's my opinion.
Well, thank you, lady. I'm shocked that you came up here. It's a wonderful surprise. You have a very lovely voice, by the way.
Can I make a rebuttal to that?
I'm always working. I'm always listening, but I'm usually working.
Okay, Black America, you can respond. And Skylar, I can barely, I see you, but then I don't see you. It looks like maybe you're behind a sheet or something. If I can see your face before I bring you up here, if you don't mind. Okay, Black America, yeah.
No one said, and no man that I have ever known in all my 50 years of living has ever asked, except for the gigolo guys, the pretty guys with, sneakers for every day of the month, has ever asked a woman to take care of it. I've never heard it put like that for a man to be taken care of by a woman. And if a man is making, let's say, the average, which is $50,000 a year, and a woman is making $150,000 a year, that man is adding his money to the pot. It's not like when a man and a woman date, the woman don't reciprocate in the same way. You see what I mean? It's like if you, who are a lady, if you were to go out on a date with a man, I don't know how many times you've paid versus a percentage of how many times a man has paid for your meal. Or you go to a club when you were younger or whatever, and a man has bought you drinks versus you buying a man drinks. The amount of money that a man spends on a woman is vastly different. So the taking care of a man part, that's not what it was. And when they were telling them there could be no men in the house, when black men's unemployment level went down, it still shot up. The welfare still shot up because you didn't have to be held accountable to what a man was saying to you. I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to be bothered with you. So, I mean, I do see, like Donovan said earlier, you guys are women and you see it from a different angle than us men do. That's it.
Well, if that was a rebuttal to my comment, I thank you. And I still say a man is going to have more respect in his household if he can provide. And I think most men would agree with that. And I'm sad that you would use buying drinks in a club as a reference. I'm talking about real life issues that would move our community forward. You know, people should be equally yoked. That makes a household happier, in my opinion, and they can grow together. If they are not equally yoked, if the woman comes to the table with more than he has, this usually causes problems down the road. We can look at Wendy Williams. We can look at a number of even celebrity. I'm using them as an example because everybody knows who we're talking about. When the family is the women and the men in the household are not equally yoked, it usually does not end well, especially for the women.
I would agree with that. And I say on this show all the time, men, we are not in a position, and I'm a Generation Xer. I'm only speaking from the way I was taught and how, it is. And just because times have changed doesn't mean necessarily the standards have changed. Because if times have changed, how the hell we got 80-year-old people being presidents and still in power up in Washington? So I've always said, you can't come as a man talking about where's her half of the rent. You're the man. You got to have the whole loaf. I've always said that. And it seems to me women don't have a problem when I say that. But at the same time, if I'm bringing home the whole loaf, guess who gets the big piece of chicken? I do. Guess who gets third service first? I do. Those are just traditional things that I was raised and I was taught. Nothing wrong with it. Doesn't mean you can't be successful with it, because at the rate that we're going now with this new generation stuff, they don't seem to be making it. Based on this new generation stuff, we need each other and we each have a role in a relationship. And, I was talking to my mom about this and it was kind of funny. And I'm going to be real quick about this. The very thing that makes men men, women complain about it, but that's what makes us men, be it narcissistic, be it this, be it that, whatever it is that makes men men, that is what makes us men, and women are complaining about it. Same thing with men that complain about what makes women women. Same thing. So, I mean, we got to come to some kind of get back to where we work together, period.
What if you don't mind me asking, what are some of the things, Donovan, that make men that women complain about?
Well, I don't know. It's whatever's subjective to them, whatever they think a man is, whatever. You know what I mean?
LS, how you doing?
What's up? Can you hear me?
We hear you fine. How you doing today?
All right. What's going on, Demetri? What's happening? Donovan, the panel, the third co-host. Yeah, I just wanted to drop in for a second. That was a joke that you read earlier when I said black women want white privilege. And that was in response to what you said about some black women say that they shouldn't have to settle. They're the only ones expected to lower their expectations. I mean, that's a two-way street. You have single men, and sometimes you have men who have children, who may get with a female who has more children than he does and isn't willing to put in the level of work that the man does just to support the household. I have a friend of mine, he was with a chick 10 years. He has one child, she had 4. she wasn't pulling her weight. He ended up dropping. He probably would have stayed with her had she done her part. And people like to pick and choose which parts of the word they want to go by, but the word says that women are to be a help meet to their man, and that is in whatever way is needed. I'm sure all of us can look at the economy and see that for a long time now, household don't really work well when it's only one income, unless you're a super high earner. But if you're not a super high earner, it takes both. I tell you, like my mom said, you get further as a team. That's what we need to get back to. And men and women, we have roles. God gave us roles. We need to fulfill our roles and not get outside of that. That's where the issue comes when both men or women get outside of their roles and try and do something that he didn't make us for. We can go vulgar and look at booty teach, chest feeding. We need women to stand up to that kind of madness because men, for the large part, except for the ones that swing that way, have always stood against that, especially black men.
Okay. Biko, how you doing? Oops. Let me unmute you. There you go.
Can you hear me okay?
We can. How you doing today?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing well.
Good, good. Hello, Donovan. I'm a 66-year-old black male, so I was raised just seeing men work, and that era just has stuck with me. So I totally disagree with Mr. Perry's analysis of that. I could never see myself just paying a light bill, and men are kind of, to me, built to work more consistently with women. And I think he leaves out of the equation too is what if somebody gets sick and don't have that salary? And that's something to take into consideration also. And my duties a lot of times was budgeting money too. So that's something that I like to do. And the mother of my children, she had an advanced degree too. She had a master's like my master's, but she agreed to homeschool the children while I worked. And then when we had this dry cleaning business together, she ran the dry cleaning business while I kept working to keep the salary going. So I think it's a dual thing that you have to be able to do to work together. But I totally disagree with Mr. Perry's analysis of it because I live in Atlanta and most of the black people I see here are struggling. You got what, like it was said before, a lot of people that are being evicted. And then you have people that are homeless, but not only out in the street, you have them couch surfing, which is homeless, basically. You're staying with somebody, but you're really not stable. And that's basically all I have to say.
Very insightful. And you said you're 66?
Yes, 66.
You're doing rather well for 66, I might add. But I like how you said you come from a different generation where things were just done differently. And I always speak about my parents. They're a lot older than you. My mom is gone on, but my dad is almost 80, and my mom, she also had an advanced degree. She was a nurse, but she chose to stay home and raise my siblings and I as my father, went off to work. But I don't know if, I never heard that she married him for money or anything like that. Now, my dad was a mechanic. He owned his own shop, so he did rather well. I'm sure she would have done well if she was a nurse then, but my dad understood the value of her staying home to take care of us in the household and things like that, opposed to having her out there working, alongside him or having another job. But again, that's a different era. I think too, as Michael was saying earlier, times, as far as finances were different, where one person could stay home. And if you ask me, one person could still stay home if they manage the money correctly. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, though. We've gotten to the point, and maybe you can speak to this, Biko. We've gotten to the point too, where people have 2 cars, and we have, these big giant houses where you haven't even walked into 2 or 3 of the rooms in the house in months, right? But back then, when I was a child, and I'm sure when you were raising a family, we had modest houses. I remember my 2 siblings and we shared a bedroom, and my parents had a room, and we had 1 car, and so I guess that was also how my mom was able to stay home. But you got people who have their priorities twisted.
Yeah, I think you have to also be able to, like I said before, budget. For example, I'm retired, so the first time in my life was this year when I was making about $60,000 a year. This year, the job wasn't worth staying in it though, because they were asking too much to do. So I said, let me make this little bit of money and then leave. And after a month, I said bye. I was able to do that because I don't have any debt. So if I need to work a job or want to work a job, it's not going to be something permanent that I do. A little bit of extra change, and that's it.
Absolutely. So, does anybody else have anything else to add?
Well, let me add this real quick. Michael says, do you realize that today's traditional gender roles are outdated because of the economic environment has changed in the last 40 years? See, I agree with that, but I don't agree with that, because you could be traditional, just like a lot of us are, if you're a driven man and stuff. See, I don't use that as an excuse to why I can't be a full-fledged 100% man. Do you see what I'm saying? So when people make these excuses for men not to be men, this is part of the problem why these guys are not stepping up to the roles and to be the men that they're supposed to be, because we're giving them excuses not to be that. If you have children at home that you have to take care of, or let's just say the white man has got you in child support, and he says, you don't pay this, you're going to jail. What do most men that owe child support do? They pay the damn child support any way they can. They got to borrow, they go and get it. It's as simple as that. So that thing about, oh, well, traditional roles aren't the same as it. No, it can still work. It can still work. If we have responsible men out here who are real men that take care of their business, they're not going to have any problems. They're just not. And I'm sorry, Biko, yes. I mean, would you agree or disagree with that?
I think it still can be done this time of year, because for example, I have a daughter right now. She's doing something. She's an electrician, so she's in a male-dominated field. So she's making more money than I ever make in my life, and she just decided to stay single for now. So that's an example. The type of guy she's looking for is probably somebody close to her dad, somebody that's going to be consistent and be a man. He may not be making as much as she makes, but he's going to have to do more than pay a light bill. I'll tell you that much.
And I think too, and maybe y'all can help me out with this, the other part of the conversation that's not being had is, to what Tyler Perry is saying, if there are men out there that's not making, 5-6 figures or whatever, as a woman, you want a man. Is there something you can do to, maybe help him maximize the money that he does have? Like I said, and my dad has said a lot. He says oftentimes a man will bring in a spoonful of money and a woman will shovel it out the back door, by not being responsible with the money, right? You know how much a man is making. Don't go out there and spend above what he is making. Figure out ways that you can stay home. Now, I know it was years ago when my mom was staying home. I was born in 1971, but my mom was also MGT of the Nation of Islam. So she cooked at home and she sold our clothes and sold. That's what I think that's what I'm trying to say. Not sold. She made our clothes and, things like that. So those are things that she learned in the Nation. And of course, from our mom and our grandmothers and stuff like that, of how to be a little bit more frugal so that, my dad could go out and work. Now, if my mom was, high society, she was, don't get me wrong, my mom was a diva, but if she was high society where she was, all at the mall with my daddy's money and, just throwing out the back door, then yeah, he'd probably be like, listen, you're going to have to go get a job. But we had 1 car. I remember my mom walking us to school and picking us up again and walking back to the house. And we had 1 car. So that's how, if your man is not making enough money and you desire to stay home, and if it's feasible, maybe think about getting a smaller house. You don't need to have no big 5, 6, 7 bedroom house with 30 bathrooms and all that other stuff. Just get what you can, because the house is not as important than what's in the house. The family is in the house. And one would also argue, and Biko, you could probably speak to this as well. When we had smaller houses, we were better in tuned with one another. Nowadays,
Sure.
big giant houses, you don't hardly see
Sure.
the kids, and they don't see you. You go to your bedroom with your plates, and then you don't see each other till the next day. But the smaller houses, you had the kitchen table. You didn't have no dining room over here, and a dining room had a
One TV.
yeah, all
Right.
of that. So there's something to be said about downsizing, so that the woman can stay home, right? I don't know.
And I would also recommend it when you do age. One of the best things I found that is useful for me is I did a reverse mortgage, so I don't have a mortgage. So, still have what is it? Almost a 3,000 foot house, square footage house, and I don't have to pay a mortgage for it. So that's worked out well for us.
Right. So if you're speaking about solutions, there's things that can be done, but like I said, I just think that's the other side of the conversation. Instead of telling women, hey, get you a man that's going to pay the light bill while you pay the mortgage, they would say, if you got a man that's not making that much money, if y'all are trying to be together and be married, figure out how to make it work until somebody can do better. But I think the union is more important. And listen, I'm not stupid. I know it takes money to make things happen, but just learning how to be, as this is something that's in the Bible, y'all better catch it, being good stewards over the money. It's what you do. That's why I say you can make a lot of money, but not keep it, because you just spending it and throwing it away.
I'd like to jump in here,
Sure.
if you don't mind. So Tiffany Haddish has a show that I think it's on one of these, cable channels. I'm not sure. And it's something about Black women dating homeless men. Okay, that's the name of it. It's all about that. It's about homeless. There are a lot of homeless men out here who could be good partners, and women should consider these homeless people. So it's a dating kind of reality show. So that's just in addition to what Tyler Perry has been saying, in addition to what we've been hearing from the manosphere, your education doesn't count. Your looks are more important than your education and the type of person you are inside and morally. This is one of the reasons why women were so triggered by Tyler's comments. We keep hearing these messages that women need to lower their standards. They're doing too well and they need to just chill out. Kevin Samuel said, we don't care about your education. We keep, for years now, we've been hearing this narrative that we are over compensating for something else, or we are overdoing it. And for a change, we would like to hear the message, Black men, can you step up? We would like to hear some leaders say, Black men, you need to get your education, get better jobs. And I just have to say the manosphere has been the biggest proponent of women are horrible, particularly Black women, and they think because they have an education, it's going to make them better. But we have not heard the manosphere saying things like, this is what you need to do in order to better yourself, not this is what you need to do in order to get, let me be frank, box. That's what the message has been. And it's a very negative message. It has been harming our community. And I think that's why you see Fresh and Fit kicked off YouTube. They have gone overboard with that message that men love, and that's why they were so popular. And Tommy Sotomayor, another denigrating type YouTuber who made horrible comments to the point where it is radicalizing young people. And that's why I'm engaged. I hate to see young people get radicalized in this mindset that's not helping, it's hurting. Thank you.
I want to say, because you brought up the Manosphere, Kevin Samuels, and all that. I will say that I did listen to Kevin Samuels quite a bit, and he did he took it to the men quite a bit and said they do need to step up, and specifically he admonished Black men, and he said, if I was Thanos, and I talk about this all the time, he's some Marvel character or something, I don't know. But he says, if I could snap my fingers and remove Black men's lower regions, he says I would, because that way you'd have to get after life with something else other than, and he said, humping your way through life. You'd have to do something else. So he often admonished the men, and specifically Black men as well, to get after it. I want to also put up this comment here. Where'd it go? It was by Robert. Here it is. He said the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that he and his wife were very poor for years. Yes, he did. I remember him telling the story about how he went and got a mattress that was secondhand. And he brought it home, and his wife was like, I'm not sleeping on that. He says, yes, you will. Basically until, we could do better. He said they cleaned it up really nice, and, they made it do what it do. Now, obviously they didn't stay that way, but you're right. They were very poor for years. And Black America, he said something like, women can't help a man build. Yes, she can. Because I can guarantee you that Mother Khadijah was very instrumental, and is still instrumental in the life of Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. Because while he's building the nation, what is she doing? You think she at home eating bonbons? You twiddling her pretty little fingernails? So it's like, knock it off. But I love that you brought that point up, Robert. Let's see here. I'm just going to skip down. And Enlightened, how you doing? It says, the time I grew up being 66 years old, women worked outside the home to supplement what their husbands made. The Black man being that last hired and first fired made it necessary. Yep, that is also true.
Yeah. Let me add this to the thing. I think, lady, the reason why a lot of men have stopped getting higher degrees because they've realized in general, I'm not speaking for all men, I'm just saying in general, that it's a hustle. As we know right now, the biggest owners of student debt or financial debt is women. And a lot of women have these degrees that really they're not working in the fields that they went to school with for whatever reason. We all have those type of degrees or those situations. So I think men, it's just like men that aren't in the church anymore. We see it as a hustle. So there's certain things that men can do that are different that women, what do they say? And I was reading something on it the other day where they're saying like when a finesse happens, women don't see it as fast as a man does. I don't know if it's based on our experiences or whatever. And I'm talking in general, not everybody. Some women get it just like that. But in general, most men know when a finesse is happening. You know what I mean? So it's just something that's innately to us. So I think that's a reason why men say, hey, I'd rather go get a vocational skill versus a education, because during the pandemic, a good example, during the pandemic, everybody had a degree, and those people that had a degree all sat at home. The people that were working were the ones that could work with their hands. So if you're a beautician or whatever, those were the people that continued to work. So I just think it's just a thing of education as we see it. And ADLA, I think you're a millennial, I believe, or whatever. I'm, Generation X. My kids they both have their bachelor's degree, but they're struggling financially, even though they have no debt because of me being in the military, right? And I told them, I think it would be better that you go learn to work with your hands. But they didn't want to do that because they were listening to mama and grandmama, right? Now,
let me jump in here. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Let me know when you're done. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Right. So, and they made their choices in what they're doing. Now I've got my degree, but before I got my degree, I made sure that at least my mom made sure that I learned to work with my hands so that if push came to shove, I can feed myself.
Okay. Donovan, I think we have to get away from this whole mindset that men know things that women don't, or women know things that men don't. Intelligence is intelligence, and it comes to men and women. Now, when you said most men know a hustle when they see one, did most men know Brother Polite was hustling them? Did most men know about?
Who's
I'm
Brother
not going
Polite?
to name
No, I don't
all.
interrupt you, but who's Brother Polite? That's what I'm saying. I don't know who that is. But go ahead.
Okay, well that's an education that you need to get, because Brother Polite has just been convicted of assaulting a young girl who was the daughter of his girlfriend. Brother Polite runs several scams on YouTube, and it from crypto to, he even is. This is not the time and place for it. I can send you some information. We've exchanged emails before, so I will send you that. He's just not a good dude. And there are a lot of pro-Black individuals who have been accused of running scams. And we've got a lot of scammers online, and most of their followers, especially in the manosphere, most of their followers are being scammed. So please don't say that men automatically know because they have a penis, like it's a detector on intelligence or, scams, because it's just not true. So that I just had to throw in there. I mean, I hope you would agree with me. We have some extremely intelligent women and extremely intelligent men and extremely unintelligent men and women as well. Just because you have a penis does not make you more intellectual or smart. And I will go further to say, as far as emotional intelligence, most men are in prison way more than women. And I hate when we compare men and women, because we get nowhere when we do that. But there are more men in prison, Black, white, Asian, than their female counterparts, because they are emotionally unintelligent and react on emotion.
Right. I agree with you. Now, did you hear where I said not everybody? And I was kind of inferring, not everybody's on this. Not all men are, intuitive and stuff like that. Did you hear that part?
Can I jump in here for just a second?
Go ahead.
So I want to address two things. Hold on a second. Let me write it down, because y'all know I'm old. I'll forget. Hopefully I'll be able to read my own writing. Okay. Tonda, I want to leave that up there. You said, believe it or not, I agree with the step up part 100%. But what happens when we do step up and do better? Can you compete with the other women? Well, by other women, are you saying other women outside of Black women? And why would we want to compete? I just, and Tonda, I love you. We here, we go way back, right? But as a Black woman, I'm not going to compete for no man. I don't care who he is, what tax bracket he's in, any of that. I'm not gonna compete for no man. A man that wants me. He ain't gonna put me in the Olympics to have to compete for his hand in marriage or whatever. So if you step up and other women become an option to you, or for you rather, then I mean, there's nothing that I can do about that. That's strictly on you. But surely you don't expect for Black women to compete with that, right? And furthermore, what woman on this planet can compete with a sister? None. Also, a lady, you said that Black men, and I'm going to say, you said are in prison due to lack of emotions and things like that, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, I didn't say lack of emotions. I said that many are in prison because they responded to situations based on their emotions. That's
okay,
what I meant.
Okay, based on their emotions. So I would say that's probably true for most people, men and women, in prison. But again, and you know how we do with lady, we got to have the whole conversation. That's part of it, but we know there's also a lot of black men in prison erroneously for things that they did not do. But I would say people who did do it, and whether they're man, woman, white, black, whatever, yeah, they're in there due to how they allowed their emotions to lead them. But I wouldn't say I just say it's a loaded conversation, if that makes any sense. Somebody else made a comment I wanted to respond to. Where did it go? Let's see, easy. You say, D, when this country goes to war with its own citizens, who will help us? Nobody but each other. Yeah, all we got is each other. Somehow we think, I'm gonna go be with this man or that woman, and ain't nobody really trying to be with us like that. We should be trying to be with each other. But again, you're free to roam about the country with your passport or whatever it is you want to do. But you're right. Let's see here. I did see another comment. Hopefully it'll stand out to me. Simone, I haven't read one of your comments. And how you doing, by the way? It says they attempted to price people out of high earning positions with increasing tuition. Plus, the government started guaranteeing loans to institutions. Yeah, and again, that's the I really like, Simone, that you bring other information to certain comments, because a lot of times we hear about student loans. We just hear about people going out and getting all this debt. But especially, back then, I could attest to that in 2008 when the housing market crash happened. A lot of people's jobs simply went away and they had to go and learn something else. Like their job was not coming back. Also, a lot of people that took out those loans, they did it to feed their families. It's to me, it's just this silly trope that most people, all people, I wouldn't even say most people, I think some people went out and just lived high on the hog. Like they were just out there just doing it big, on these student loans. Now people were feeding their families and making ends meet with that money. So I'm not one to necessarily try to shame somebody for having student loan debt. There's a whole host of reasons why people have that debt. And in some respects, it becomes elitist. You say, you people, you got this student loan debt. It's like, well, did you ask that person why? Or are you just making these blanket assumptions as to why they have the student loan debt? And like you said, back in the day, back in the day, Helen, when I first started going to school in the 89, 90, shit, I think it was $3 per credit or something like that. Ain't no telling what it is now. So, a lady.
Oh, thank you. And I'm sorry for interrupting, but student loan debt, let's be honest, what is it? It is contributing to your future. It is good debt to have. What's not good debt to have is financing a luxury vehicle. That's not good debt to have. And if you are a really good, high achieving individual, your job will pay off your student loan debt. There are ways your student loan debt can be deferred. Student loan debt is saying you have contributed to your future, and it really puts you on track to being a better person, more so than a lot of MasterCard debt for vacations and other things we go into debt for. If you're going to go into debt for anything, a student loan is a better thing to go into debt for than pleasure.
Yeah, I totally agree. Mm-hmm. LS, were you trying to say something?
Yeah, if I may add, I just want to kind of close the door on the welfare discussion, because it's a door that swings both ways, and it happened from outside our community, because when they came with the welfare programs, the man had to leave the home, and that was intentional. The same way it was intentional to drive the economy to a point where the woman could not stay at home and she had to work. So there are outside factors that we need to consider whenever we discuss welfare and the effects that it has, pros or cons, on our community. And on that, I'm going back to the chat.
Thank you. Come
See
back
ya.
and see us again.
All right.
Black America, I see you asking if you can come back up. I'm gonna put this link back up here. We'll be up here about another 15 minutes. We'll put it up here.
We can go longer. The Cowboys won. We can go longer if we need to.
Oh, you're happy.
Well, I'm just going here. I'm sorry, Deej.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I hear, and I'm sorry to keep bringing up manosphere, but I keep hearing a lot of talking points from the manosphere. One of them is Black women are the most evicted. That's when you know you're talking to people who've been listening into the manosphere. That's one of, I mean, most of them can be dispelled. Okay. The other, the student loan debt, that's another one. They give you guys a lot of half truths without giving you the entire truth, the entire stat and context. Okay. So look, for me personally, my companies pay for my advanced degrees. So just because a person has a degree does not mean that they are in debt. So these are things that you have to, fully think about what you're saying before you say it, because you don't look like you're quite, well read on the topic if you don't understand the full context. Anytime a woman says Black men are all such and such, consider the context. We know good and well Black men aren't all the same, and we know all Black women aren't the same. And I agree with someone who said we have to look to ourselves if anything happens, if this country continues to decline. But Black men have said in the manosphere, if you are an independent woman, if you are a feminist, you're on your own. So that is telling us we need to get strapped. We need to be prepared because we are on our own. We're going to continue to get degrees. We're going to continue to get good jobs. We're going to continue to tell our children that they need to do all that they can do on their own because they're on their own. And our men are saying that because we are not subjugating ourselves to them, that we aren't worthy. And it's a sad state of affairs. And until Black men stand up and tell us something different, it's not going to change. And anytime you have other men, Asian men, white men saying, Black women, I don't know what's wrong with you. I see you as valuable. You should be ashamed as a Black man.
Well, that's interesting. Hey, lady, did you see? I know you came in a little bit late. That I sent out the statistics from what I was researching, and Demetra also backed it up in some of the areas that we're talking about, as in wealth of between men and women, and evictions and stuff that's going on. Just last month, Atlanta evicted over, I think it was like 30-something thousand evictions were either filed or actually happened in Atlanta and Miami. So I put those things up in the chat. Did you get a chance to look at those, or maybe you'll look at them a little bit later?
I saw that, and I responded that Black men are on what do you call Skid Row? You're off the grid. I mean, right. The poorest people in the country are Black men and women, and they can track us. And a lot of Black men are living with Black women. So when Black women are getting evicted, you guys are too. I'm not going around telling people that. How are you guys?
Well, exactly. Yeah. No, I'm not saying what you're saying is bad, or I'm trying to discredit what we're saying. At the end of the day, what you're saying and what the manosphere is saying, whatever the deal is, anybody with any common sense, and this is my opinion, seeing what's going on based on the statistics, what we see out there and what we're experiencing, knows at this point, if Black people do not get our shit together, and we get together with our women, Black men get your women, women get your men, it's a wrap for us. That's the conclusion of all of this information that we've gotten. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. It will be easier if we get it together and work together. However, adults have to be independent. Don't get with a person who's an adult who is dependent. You want an independent mate. So if the more people who we raise to be independent, the better our community will be. And this whole, she's a feminist, let's not listen to her. Let me tell you what a feminist means. A feminist says a woman is equal to a man under the laws of their country. That's really what a feminist is. Don't say I have less rights because I'm a woman. And don't say you have more rights because you're a man. That's ridiculous. That's not what our law says. If that's how you believe, you should probably be in a different country. We're in a democracy.
Well, actually, we're not in a democracy, but okay. But let me give you a better example. As much as me and Demetra go back and forth on this show, you guys should see how we go behind the scenes. But at the end of the day, Demetra knows she's not going to change me, and I'm not going to change her. Her opinion is valid, even though I don't agree with it, and it is what it is. And that's how we have to deal with it. We have to accept how people feel about a certain situation. I mean, no prism is going to fit everybody in the aspect. All I'm saying is, for me, looking at whatever, you can call it a manosphere, you could call it this, you could call it that. At the end of the day, if we don't get together, and very soon, it's a wrap for Black people. They're already doing it by bringing these immigrants in here. I mean, at this point, in my opinion, Black men and Black women, we should be calling a truce to whatever's going on, because they're replacing us and giving money, our tax dollars, to these people that are coming into this country. We need to cut it out and just get it done.
Okay, Donovan.
I'm just reading. Godspeed. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
What's on your mind?
I just wanted to tag in because I'm actually.
I think you covered up your mic.
What about now? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'm actually a Black male, single, actually a therapist, mental health clinician. And all I'm gonna chime in and say is this: is I think that Black women and Black men, social media, because what I see in my everyday life, working alongside with professional Black women, I really don't see the gender war. I see it more on social media. And I also think, because all the Black women I deal with, they very supportive, and we all support each other, and we kind of know what we're dealing with. I do think a lot of that, I wonder, is it propaganda being coming from all these other races of people? I think it's very intentional, but I do think that it's more so focused on the younger people who then say, well, they tell Black women, open your options. Who are you opening your options to? Because the reality is, all groups of people as individuals they love Black people. As a collective, they hate Black people. So this idea that we have options and open your options, how do you open your options to said group of people who don't want you to begin with? So it's just something that we all need to be thinking about. Because there's no one coming to save Black people but Black people. But I guess I tend to not really focus so much on social media, but focus more so on everyday human interaction. And all the Black men, like that Alabama thing that happened, that's usually, Black people get on code with each other. So, and just like we've been 12% of the population, Black people are more than 12%. Now they saying 14, 15%. They're Black people everywhere you go. So those numbers are wrong. A lot of Black people don't even fill out the census. So, I just don't know. It's a lot of propaganda, a lot of things happening to our community, and we just really need to wisen up. And far as women, looking for protection from Black men, and black men, if Black men will do protect Black women, I want to ask these Black women, who are the men that are not protecting you, and when did this happen? Most of them can't even answer it. So you just got to be careful with the propaganda, because it's intentional, and I think people are trying to divide us intentionally. And there are a lot of people who get online and fall for online stuff, and then just look at your everyday life and the interactions that you having with Black people in general. And usually mines have all been pretty good. And then that's all I have. I'm done.
You know what? I'm gonna say I love you because you hit the nail on the head. I always say that the internet is not real. People spend all this time on the internet inculcating all the black man hates the black woman, the black woman hates the black man, and like you said, most black people, I think if they saw something like that go down, they would intervene, but we mistake the little things we see on the internet as real life. And I always say that too. Like, I don't know any black women who say, I hate black men and black men ain't this, that, and the other. Now, don't get me wrong, we got our issues, but it's never to that degree. It's mostly on the internet. And I think you hit the nail on the head too when you said, who is really behind all of that? Who? So I love it. Thank you. And Robert, you said strong black woman is not a woman who can hold a white man's job down. A strong black woman is a woman who can hold her family down and keep a husband. You know what? I like that. I totally agree with you with that. Because as it's been said, I might get in trouble here, but the black woman can go to work and listen to the white man, then surely she can listen to the black man at home. But I probably said too much. Black America, what's on your mind again?
This is for Miss Lady. I mean, just listening to her, it's sad as hell. I mean, an older lady who's smart and probably make a little bit of bread. She's picking and choosing parts of the manosphere that are negative, and she's picking out parts like white people used to use the Bible against slaves. The things that you said, and I don't want to disrespect you, but the things that you said are bullshit. Like, I mean, you saying people are talking about women. All the manosphere people are telling men to make themselves better, and they're pointing out the things that the women are doing. If you're feeding yourself with somebody like a Fresh and Fit, that's bad on you. It's a lot of good content creators. Miss D, Donovan, they up here doing their thing. Medium Man, if you want to get all your statistics and everything as far as that, go listen to that brother. He is on top. He lays out all of the financials for men and women. He lays out any disease statistics, everything as far as that's concerned. So what you're feeding yourself with and what you're actually hearing and what you're actually listening to, it might not be the best thing. Men do care for women, and women do care for men, but the things that you're saying are just completely wrong. It's bad for everybody as a whole.
May I offer a rebuttal?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Fresh and Fit were one of the biggest, if not the biggest, content creators in the manosphere space. Would you agree to that?
I would.
Okay. They are the ones that are feeding this misinformation. And so for their lack of, I don't know, truthful content or whatever, they got taken down. So it is what it is.
Did they
Okay, so I have a question for you. Have you listened to a full Fresh and Fit podcast and not just a clip?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so anything that you says is no longer relevant. It's like a woman saying, I hate Kevin Samuels because I heard something that he said. If you don't get it in the full context, it's what you're saying is garbage information. So, and that's what I'm saying. You have to listen to the full context and the full video of a Kevin Samuels or a Fresh and Fit. What they're talking about, or a Coach Greg Adams or a Medium Man, they are talking about men improving themselves to make themselves better for women, because that's all men want to do is be more and better for, well, black men, 100% for sure. They want to
If
be
you're saying
more
that,
and better for women.
if you're saying that Fresh and Fit, their goal was to make men better, I respect your opinion. I'm going strictly by what YouTube decided. They said that they weren't fit for consumption and they took them down. Now, I saw Myron of Fresh and Fit say, what was he doing? He was kind of clowning another YouTube creator by making monkey sounds. He put a hood on, pretending to be the KKK. He said the N-word over and over again. If this is making men better, okay, that's your opinion. I'm just, when I say that they got taken down, that's all I said, really, because their content wasn't suitable. That is, if you have a problem with that, you take that up with, YouTube. That wasn't my decision. I didn't report them.
I never watched Fresh and Fit, so I don't have a problem with them being taken down at all. Hold on one second, Ms. D.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You want? Okay, I don't have a problem with Fresh and Fit because that was for a younger crowd. Me and Donovan wouldn't be following anything that Fresh and Fit said because they're for younger men on how to improve themselves. Me and Donovan are already at the finish line, and we're having our cup of water or a cup of tea and putting our other clothes on. So if a content creator says something that is against the LGBT community, if a content creator says something against fat women, if a content creator says anything that the narrative doesn't like nowadays, you can be taken down off of the thing. So once again, I don't know why they were taken down because I was not a consumer of their product at all. Okay, I watched little clips here and there, but just like you, but I wasn't a consumer. So if anything, once again, if anything that you take in, or you just hearing clips about it, you're going to have a skewed vision of it, and it's sad because you're not looking at the full breadth of it, and you're not taking everything in depth of what they were saying.
So let me say this. So Fresh and Fit, it's their stuff. The channel is up. They were demonetized on all of their platforms, every last one of their platforms, for the shenanigans as far as doing, I guess, what you can call racist things, having Nick Fuentes on there, wearing a KKK hood, just still doing a lot of antics outside of the talking points, I would say, of the regular manosphere. I will say that most manosphere channels did not behave the way they did. But just like Godspeed said, the therapist, that's the internet. That's not most men that you would encounter outside of the internet. I have not encountered too many men that adhere to the manosphere. Or a reason why I said too many, because at one point in time, Donovan did adhere to the manosphere, even though he doesn't say he is manosphere, but he's definitely red pill, and that he does, regurgitate a lot of the things that
I'm a man.
The manosphere, okay, the manosphere says so. Fresh and Fit, I would say they were probably an anomaly, because most black men don't behave that way. Not black men that I've come in encounter with, but I want to take this comment. And Thunder, you made a comment I also want to go back to. Honey, do you say a black gay man just told me to move past dating black men? He said, I think he meant men. He said, between the closet and the cheaters, we are doomed. Let me say this about those gentlemen there. I noticed that a lot of the gay fellas are in women's business too. Now, maybe they have some insight into men because they also date men, but I am so tired of seeing a man on the internet telling women what to do. I really am. Just like I'm sure men would not like a woman on there constantly telling them what to do, whether you're talking about a Derek Jackson, what's his name, Ace Metaphor, and the gay dudes and whoever else sitting up telling Donovan, sitting up telling women what to do all day long on the internet. They can only speak to the men that they date, and I would seriously doubt that a lot of black men are in the closet. There's some, yeah, but from trying to make this blanket statement, because I see a lot of gay dudes on the internet talking about girl and you child and honey boo boo, and you need to just like shut up, go mind your business, whatever business that is. Stop trying to tell black women what to do. And I always say this too. Sorry, sisters, I know y'all gonna get mad, but a lot of these men on the internet talking to y'all about what y'all should be expecting, blah blah blah. It's a hustle. They're trying to get a bag off of telling black women to not get along with black men. And for whatever reason, I was on TikTok. I'm not on there much, but if you ever scroll on TikTok, you don't really control what comes up. So Derek Jackson came up, and I'm like, that's interesting. How old is this video? And it was a couple of days old, and I'm like, tell me that women are not still following this joker after he got caught cheating on his wife, not once, but a few times, and he's still sitting up there giving advice to women as though he is not the man he is talking about. So I agree with the therapist. It's silliness. It's the internet. And one thing I'm going to tell y'all is people are on this World Wide Web feeding their face, okay? A lot of people are on this thing getting a bag off of telling y'all what you want to hear. They are appealing to your emotions. Okay, what are they mad about today? Okay, great. Cue up the YouTube or Facebook. Let me get on there and talk about how black women ain't this and black women ain't and men ain't that. And then the Cash App goes off and the super chats and everything goes off. And then they go log off and they're like, well, that's nice. Look at all the money I made off of spewing stuff that I know don't happen and that I don't believe. So I always say just think for yourself. But I don't be listening to a whole. There's a very few people on this thing we call the internet that I listen to. You know what I mean? Because I know it's a hustle for them. So and let's see, Thunder, you said I want to address your question. I'm gonna try to see if I understand it. She says, with this conversation, if black women will, I think it meant be with us while we are climbing to the top. Why complain about the other women not backing us when we started off, and you refuse to back us from the start? So I don't know if you meant will or will not back you. Again, I don't know too many women who out there like, I'm not backing him. Forget him. Yeah, I don't know what he does. I'm not gonna be behind. I don't know no women like that. Most of my homegirls, I'll bring them up here and they'll tell you how they have stood 10 toes down behind a man. And unfortunately, a lot of times it didn't work out for them or whatever. But I don't know too many women talking about I ain't gonna stand behind no man. I just don't. So let me skip down to the bottom. I know that we are behind a little bit here. We're not gonna be here too much longer. Ooh, I'm way behind. Hello to everybody that came on here that I did not address. Sorry. Angela, I haven't seen your comment in a while. You say, Donovan, my daughter and I were talking about the immigrants being brought here is being done by design. No money for reparations, but money for immigrants, Afghans, Ukrainians, Asians, etc. Blacks come together. Absolutely. Okay, so I'll just see. And Jana, how you doing? I'm gonna skip down. William, you say many of those people with junk are chasing the algorithms. They're out to get the bag. Yeah, they're making the money. DCLP95 says they're talking to white men, and I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. Dusty Hotepi says they are red pill, not manosphere. Okay. Freddie says no real men were listening to Fresh and Fit. Oh, they had what? over 1 million followers. So somebody was listening to Fresh and Fit, but they were crying nevertheless about their channel being demonetized. Just, it's like, just act like you got some sense, right? Okay. And Will, you say Black America do not speak for me. Okay. Email. How you doing? It says these the dudes wearing KKK hoods and gorilla suits. Yeah, those guys. And admittedly, I don't see most dudes in the manosphere behaving that way. So we won't blanket them with Fresh and Fit's behavior. Honeydew says, hold on. I watched enough of you had other men get on them. Are you kidding? One of them had shut pregnant woman asking her to, oh, yeah, that I don't know anything about that. I don't watch Fresh and Fit. Mike, I'm gonna bring you up briefly, please. Briefly, come on up and say what you got to say. What's on your mind, brother?
Yeah, just very quickly. Just want to bit of what Donovan and a lady 747 said about student loans. The reason why the student loans.
Miss D.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So just very quickly. So I understand. I also said, just to elaborate, just to expand what Donovan and a lady 747 said about, student loans and vocational training. And not everybody can do vocational training. Not everybody can go to college. But I do think that the options for post high school should be for free. It should be based on interest. If you go with your hands doing plumbing, great. If you're good at intellect, you should go to college. You should go to university. But to piggyback quickly, the reason we have student loans because President Bush Sr. signed the Student Loan Act. I'm sorry, the Higher Education Act of 1992 to have student loans replace Pell Grants, scholarships. So that way states wouldn't have to be responsible for higher education. This is how we end up with the 2008 financial crisis, including student loans. And student loans cannot be discharged because Joe Biden implemented policy to prevent student loans from being discharged through bankruptcy. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Michael. And you're right.
Exactly.
All right. Arson, I'm going to put the link up really quick if you want to tap on. Let's see here. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Can I add on to that? So Michael just touched on the student loan debt, and Miss Lady was talking about the student loan debt earlier. And Donovan, had a rebuttal to it. And I just wanted to add a little bit on to it as far as men that are plumbers. I'm talking about journeyman plumbers. They make as much as doctors. And you don't have any student loan debt. Truck drivers, such as myself, we make as much as lawyers. And we don't have any student loan debt. So the problem with it is you guys think that education and going and getting in debt for 40, 50, or even $100,000 to get a job that's paying you $80,000, $90,000 or sometimes $60,000 is making you a better person. It doesn't get to the end goal of where the women want us to be as far as financial. That's what I wanted to say to that.
All right. And let me, and the Squid, thank you so much for your donation. Love and appreciate you for that. You say, can we come together as Black people and start suing YouTube, CBC, the Dems, media outlets, music industry, and et cetera, for negative propaganda and benign neglect? Start raising money to open businesses. We can sue them, but I think, and maybe you could tell me what you think, it'd behoove us to just come together and start our own platforms. And with the platforms that we have, this is not my platform per se, but it is my channel. Why don't we just start being a little bit more productive, a little bit more productive and responsible with the things that we are saying on the internet? Because I know, like I said, I have almost 16,000 subscribers. It's significant, but it's not significant in the larger scheme of things. And part of that is because I'm just not going to sell out to do silly stuff, because I'm not a silly woman. I can be silly, but I'm not a silly woman where I'm going to be on the internet being divisive and, showing my business and all that. Just, I'm not going to do that for money, because after a while that gets old, and what else are you going to do? So I just prefer to be a builder, if you will, be conducive. Although we may not agree, I just like to be a little bit more solution oriented. So yeah, we can sue those entities, but especially with the Democrats, we don't have to keep falling for it. They're not really making us, vote for them. The Democrats are only in office because of us. If it was not for the Black vote, they would not be in office. Congressional Black Caucus, the same thing. Most of them, if not all of them, are Democrats. And they can't be there if it's not for Black people. So there are things that we can do to minimize the blow, but I think suing them would just kind of be, for one, we're not going to win. We're not going to win that, but I think there's other things that can be done. Let's see here. William, I'm going to bring you up here. How you doing?
Great. And yourself?
I'm doing well. No complaints.
Now, on the student loan thing, I am for going to school. Myself, I'm skilled trades. I work in aviation, have done it for years. Thank God now I'm retired. I ain't got to fight that battle. But the student loan thing is nothing against it. If you can afford to do it, do it. But understand, it's not designed for you to get ahead and make money. It's a game just like anything else. Because most of the time when you get that degree and everything, you get out, in most cases, you making what? If you're making, like you said, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, you went to that best school, and your loan, the money that you amount owe is $100,000, $200,000, and you went to USC. And if you don't believe me, and most people have that debt because they went to schools thinking that they're going to get the job. But unless you know how to get out there and get that job that's paying what you can make your money back, and the game is rigged, folks. It's not meant for you to win. It's to keep you paying. So if you don't make out in California, you need at least $81,000 from the get-go as a family of four just to make it. You need that money. So if you don't get off the bat making that kind of money, you can hang it up. It's done. You're a waste of time. You've wasted money and your time. And from now on, once you graduate, you are playing catch up. And you start off from behind. Now, the lucky few that come out with some money and doing everything great, that's the few. But that is the exception, not the norm. And that's where people are getting it confused. The few with the exception come out telling the norm, this is how it's done. Look at me. Look how great I'm doing. Wrong. As far as everything else on that, as far as these demonetizing people, most of these people out here that are on the internet, they out here making this money. They saying things because the algorithm says you're doing great. They got a gauge in front that tells them how many people are tuned in and all that. They're looking at for the foolishness. Fresh and Fit was one, but also, like I said, Candace Owens has got a second or third. I think she's working on a third strike. So they demonetizing her. But you can come out, it's kind of hard to argue about getting all these degrees and stuff when you cut people and get on the internet, like some people, and make six figures in a matter of months. What are you going to say to this new generation? Not much you can tell them. And as far as this man against woman thing, we are here in the fight for our lives. We're attacked by all these other groups. We're being replaced by AI. You got everything imaginable going against us, and we're fighting against each other over what the man got, what the woman got, and we're steadily under siege. We don't have the time or the luxury, and really it's quite tiring. We both need each other, and we need to stand in back to back making this fight, period. And with that, y'all have a blessed day.
Hey, William, before you go, what did you do in aviation?
I was an aircraft mechanic, mostly sheet metal. But now I go to work and I tear down technician, disassemble mild manner components, learning the ropes to get my drone business started, getting that kind of thing going.
Okay,
so
I have my
not having to work.
Yeah, the reason I bring that up, I have my A&P too, and I have like a lot of degrees, and people would always ask me, I went to Embry-Riddle. So again, you know what Embry-Riddle is, the best aeronautical school in the world, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I spent all this money on the Embry-Riddle, right? And I was one of the few lucky ones that was able to stay in my field. But as a pilot, when I transitioned to become a pilot, people always ask me, well, you should go get your master's degree. You know, and I know, and this is what I would try to explain to people, and they couldn't understand it. in the aviation field, it's your reputation and it's your experience that gets you more money.
Your hours.
Agree. Would you agree with that?
Hours. It's the same way with other things that I do. Like if you do non-destructive testing, which a lot of people don't talk about, NDT, those fields pay good. And now they're putting those in drones. Everything you want to do now is you can go to school for and learn, and you can put that in a drone, work with AI because they got autonomous, which is an AI-based program, and you can get out here and make this money. And you don't need 5 or 6 degrees. You need about $1,800 to go to the school, take the course, and then get back out there, bust the bank, and become a millionaire. Takes a little time, but it can be done.
And I tell people that all the time about aviation. The thing is, our people, we are not really geared to go into those type of fields, you know, and it's unfortunate, but the money's there.
So I T-Walk, can I see your face? And for the, okay, I got you. You can blank it out if you want. For those of y'all who have been up here, let's say Michael, a lady, and can I have y'all drop down so I can bring more people up? And we're actually going to get out of here just a couple of minutes. But I appreciate you all for coming on. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to bring T-Walk up here. And Skylar, how you doing?
Hey, Demetra, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm actually working right now. But yeah, I tried joining earlier, but it didn't work. But yeah, I just kind of disagree with Tyler Perry. I feel like you like I don't know. I feel like a man should be like you should be able to take care of yourself pretty much as a man, pretty much. I didn't yeah, like the idea that you should be able to pay the light bill. That's it. Right now, my mom makes more money than my dad, and my dad is not really. He just drives a limo. But yeah, it's not good for my marriage right now, for my parents' marriage. So I think if you want to be in a good marriage, you should definitely make more or contribute more than your wife, just so you can take the stress off her. Pretty much, I don't think that's a good idea to like think about. Oh, well, you're just the wife should pay more bills or anything like that. And also, Ms. Demetra, I want to ask you about insurance, being insurance sales. I was looking into like getting my license in that, and I just want to if you can like talk about that or make a video about your experience in being selling insurance, pretty much.
Yeah, I can actually do that at another day. We talk about it. How about you come back on Wednesday? That's when we have the money show with Walter. And you could come up and we can have a discussion then.
Okay.
Time.
Yeah, because I'm definitely like, cause I'm a truck driver right now. I'm working right now. JB Hunt's my company, see. And I thought about getting my own truck, but yeah, I don't want to be in a truck forever. So like, I want to look into other things. Like I'm studying for a realtor, and but I also learned about insurance, and I want to know for somebody in your field, like you mentioned that before you sell insurance. I remember you said that before, so I want to ask you about that pretty much.
So I'll just briefly say I do not sell insurance anymore. I do not have a license, so I don't have the ability to do that, but I did do it for years. It's a lucrative industry. If you are good at what you do, you're persistent. It's a numbers game. But it's also a feast or famine field, which means there are times where you'll sell a lot of insurance and you'll make a lot of money. And there's sometimes that you won't make a lot of money for whatever reason. You just have to be good at saving your money. But life insurance is something that everybody needs. I'm going to put you on mute just a second. Life insurance is something that everybody needs, especially our people. We are actually the most insured people. We're just the most underinsured. So if you are persistent and you're willing to learn about life insurance, I believe that you'll do well. You just got to figure out how to get the people to understand that they need it. So, if it's something you want to do, go for it. T-Walk, how you doing?
Hey, how y'all doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm doing well. You got a picture of Tukey Williams as your profile picture.
yeah, that's the OG
Demetra likes the gangsters.
Oh, for real?
Just a little bit. I'm just playing.
People usually don't know who that is on the pic when I come up. That's
I knew.
That's yeah, that's the OG right there. But I just wanted to say, man, Tyler Perry, man, he full of shit. He always been full of shit. He just spread propaganda. He been spreading propaganda about black men since the early 2000s, man. I've never liked him. He lied on black men in movies just like he lying on black men now. Black men do not make less than black women. I don't know why it's so hard for people just to pull up Google and look these stats up. I don't understand it. I really don't. And it's like they run with it. I'm an engineer. Let me correct that. I'm becoming an engineer. I'm in school right now. I know y'all was talking about student loan debt and all that stuff. Well, I know I'm going to, the job I'm insured to get, I'm going to pay all that back in a little bit. But it's like when you doing research in college, you are supposed to cite your sources and make sure they are reputable sources. Make sure that you've looked them up and you know that they can be relied on. People don't just get on in college campuses to just say stuff without backing it up, because they would get laughed out of the classroom. You would get an automatic F. So for people to hop on this internet and spew stuff like black women make more than black men, when that's a lie. All black women got college degrees, when that's a lie. Only 26% of black women got more than bachelor's degrees. 24% of black men have more than bachelor's degrees. It's only a 2% difference. But they keep putting down black men like we are not educated, when 24% of us are and 26% of black women. That's only a 2% gap. So I don't understand why people can't just use Google and look it up. I don't understand this. I really don't. And for him to just spread this propaganda like he's been doing his entire career is crazy.
And you know what? I love a very smart man. I really do. And you sound like you're very smart. And y'all remember, I didn't say smart mouth, Donovan. Y'all remember not too long ago for Barack Obama's birthday, Tyler Perry made a post where he said that he bought the chairs of Abraham Lincoln. And if Abraham Lincoln only knew that the descendant of the slave that he freed will one day be president, what would he think of that? Now, some people are like, yeah, he's right, woo. But thinking people's like, wait a minute now. Barack Obama ain't descendants of slaves. In fact, he's a descendant of slave owners, and he said that. So a lot of people did take Tyler Perry to task, and he took it down, like, man, but it's the appeal to authority. And that is because Tyler Perry has all this money, and he's, got all this and that going on. He knows Oprah and everybody. People just assume everything he says is correct.
Exactly.
I use that theory of when you go to the doctor, right? You say, oh, doc, my right hand is broken. I fell off my skateboard and it's broken. And he looks at it and he goes, no, actually, it's your left hand that's broken. Now, most people that suffer to the appeal to authority will say, well, he's the doctor, so he must be right.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead and put a spleen on my left arm. But thinking people like, wait a minute, doc, I said it was my right arm. It's not my left arm. What are you talking about? So.
But most people don't think nowadays, and that's the problem. Most people don't use the brains that God has given them. Like it's some of this stuff. A lot of the stuff on the internet that people say is so easy to debunk. Like if I had my whole channel, if I had my own channel, I would dedicate an entire channel just to debunking lies, because that's how easy it is to debunk. It's like people don't use Google, and I don't understand how people are this slow. Well, it might be something that's food. I don't know.
No, they're lazy. Most people are lazy. They just, if it looks good, it's propaganda, right? Rhetoric. That's how Hitler was able to do what he did. He had brown hair, brown eyes, and he was telling everybody else that the master race was what? Blonde hair, blue eyes. But they're listening to somebody who don't look like them, but he just dressed it up and he made it sound good. Now imagine if a couple people, would have said, wait a minute now. How you telling us to do something you ain't? Shouldn't you also be suffering the same fate as the people that you're telling us to harm? But that's how propaganda works. It sounds good. It looks good. It smells good.
But at least I could understand back then, because they did not have Google. People have Google.
But even with that, because I've read Mein Kampf and all that. Even with that, if you were in that crowd listening to him, wouldn't you have said, he ain't got no blonde hair and blue eyes?
Yes,
Women
common
can be
sense. Yes,
authority. Now,
yes.
listen, I'm not saying no one did, but how was he able to fool so many people into believing what he said and what he ultimately sold? You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's propaganda, and that's how it works, because it works. And I actually did my dissertation on rhetoric and propaganda, working on the ignorant. You have to be ignorant to hear certain
Exactly.
things, yeah, to hear things and not question them. See,
Wait. Is that why you were asking me all those questions at one time when you were doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, got
it. But if you watch the show enough, you'll see there's a few people who get mad at me because I'm simply just asking questions. It's like, I know you don't think I'm a dummy. I'm gonna just sit up here and just believe everything you saying. Yeah, it sounds good, but I need to make sure what you're saying is true.
That's what I'm saying. Anytime somebody says something, ask them to cite their source. This is what I do. Every time I talk to somebody, every time I talk to a man or a woman, I ask them, cite their source. Women of this, cite your source. Men of this, cite your source. If you can't cite your source about anything that you say about black men or women in this community, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say, because I know you full of shit. I know you full of shit. That's why when I heard what he said, I knew automatically he was full of shit, because I know the truth. And when you know the truth, everything else you see appears to be a lie. It's like he can say this and millions of people just believed him. You got millions of people, women on TikTok, mad at something that's not even real. And I'm like, what is going on? You got white people in our business, Asian, all these people in our business over a lie. Over a lie.
You know what though, T-Wonk? You need to start your own channel doing that. We need more people like you.
I gotta finish school first. And I don't know if any of my teachers watch YouTube. So I ain't trying to have none of that affect my grade, because I need to get up out of this. I need to get up out of here, I'm going for 2 bachelor's degrees, computer engineering and electrical engineering. I need to go ahead and do that, get these degrees, and then I'm going to start speaking out more. But for right now, you don't know who a sleeper cell, who not, who on which side. So I try to keep everything under wraps until I, you know what I'm saying, make it through this. And then that's when I'm going to start showing my face and doing all this. Because a lot of this shit is easy to debunk. It's so easy, so easy. Like I hear some of this stuff, and then I even see some brothers agreeing with it. Like, yeah, black men, oh man, how we at the bottom? Like, nigga, shut up.
Where you don't even if you don't
talking
mind
about how we at the bottom. We are not at the bottom. Latino men make less than us, bro.
You from California, ain't you?
Nah. I hear people say I sound like I'm from Cali though, but I'm not. I'm from the South, North Carolina.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
yeah, I like how you think. You are a man after my own heart. I love smart men. I love smart people in general, smart men, smart women.
Thank you.
But you know, please, when you finish your degrees, get your channel, because we need people like you on this World Wide Web to say, wait a minute, now this makes no sense.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Best believe I'm working on it, because I'm getting tired of it. Oh my God. Every time I crack open my phone, it's somebody with another lie. Like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then people just falling for it. Like, that is ridiculous.
You're absolutely right. Well,
thinking is a lost art. You're right.
It really
is a lost art.
It's just people just lazy. But they also say thinking is a lost art, and truth gets challenged by popular opinion. The strong don't fold when it comes to the facts they hold. That's right. But you know, people like to call me masculine. Oh, you don't listen, you masculine. It's like, why? Because I'm not gonna believe what you saying, especially when I know that ain't the truth.
I said what I said. That's enough right there.
For who? For who? So anyway, we're gonna get out of here, but I want to answer this question I did see from Will. Where did it go? Let's see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. It says, so why are we underinsured? Black people being underinsured actually is a form of racism. Back in the day when we first started being sold life insurance, we were undersold because life insurance is actually a way to help close the wealth gap, right? When you die, you leave money, you leave a legacy, to your people, whatever. So that wasn't given to us. We were given enough to have a funeral or what have you. And even moving more to modern times, Black people, probably more so than anybody else, were undersold insurance. So let's say I bought a life insurance policy in 1971. Back then, I don't know, maybe you could pay for a funeral for $2,000. And so I got a policy for $2,000. Well, I lived all the way up until, 2023. That policy is not going to pay for a funeral because inflation and all that other stuff. So that's what I mean, that we are underinsured. We weren't sold the right type of policy to keep up with inflation, and any of that kind of stuff. But if you look up Google, you'll see that us being undersold insurance back in the day was out of racism, which is how a lot of our people ended up with plots, thinking that, if I buy a burial plot, then that's going to pay for the whole funeral. It's like, no, you just bought the hole in the ground, and you got to pay to open it, and you got to pay to close it. And that don't include putting your mama in a dress and the limos and the church services and the repast. That don't include none of that stuff. So that's how we were. We tend to be underinsured. So anyway, y'all got anything else to add before we get out of here?
Nah, I just want people to do more Google searches from now on. Just you got a phone, use it. Stop believing people just because they say stuff about you. Just use Google.
Yeah, and I saw someone say, well, Google is not everything, but it's a start. You could start there because
if you know how to read, it is.
Yeah, and you just keep Googling and Googling and Googling until you find what you need. And yeah, you can go to the library. I'm old enough to remember having to go to the library and research. That was a long time ago.
And they got something called Google Scholar too. So for the people that say, Google might have false information, go to Google Scholar and they will have all of their journals. They have a section where you can just search for peer-reviewed journals. This is something I learned in school. Go to Google Scholars on Google, go to the Google Scholars section, and then type in peer-reviewed research journals and type in anything you want to ask, and they have everything there. Everything.
Absolutely. I mean, you can learn if you're really interested in learning. Saying I don't know, you should not be saying I don't know in the age of Google. That you just should not be saying I don't know.
They can look up everything else except for that. They know how to look up everything else on their phone except for stuff like that.
Right. You be on Pornhub, don't you? I'm just playing.
Exactly.
I'm just kidding. So, William, do you have anything else to add? No. Donovan, how about you?
I'm good to go. Let's do it.
All right. And VM4, how you doing? Frank, how you doing? All right. So we're gonna get out of here. And William say, I still maintain a home library. Yeah, got a lot of books over here. I actually needed another bookshelf. I just haven't gotten around to it. And Rashad, thank you so much for being here. So anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Thank y'all for coming on here, expressing your opinion. Whether you're in the comments, you gave a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever you did, you donated. Every bit helps. Donovan, thank you so much. And gentlemen, for coming up here. Until next time, which is Tuesday, you guys have a great evening. We will see y'all later.
You too.
Peace.
Peace.